That's the living room. And you're going to, well, hello, Miles. Would you like to come to the back deck for some more?
Sure.
So basically, what happened is we didn't know the construction of the house was going to change sensory disorders. We had no idea that our senses needed the complex patterns of nature. Miles, can you tell them a little bit about that?
Well, I've always been able to pick up patterns really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen right now, you can hear a lot of animals.
Mm-hmm.
I hear 6 different species
Nice.
communicating with each other. I heard a woodpecker off in the distance, which I don't think the speaker could pick up, but I heard it. And it's just, these patterns help me calm down.
Mm-hmm. Why do they help you? Why do you think you've always wanted to know about patterns?
Well, I just always like patterns. It's
Yep.
just me.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think the patterns that you were seeking before we moved to nature, were you finding patterns that made you feel better?
Not necessarily, but I was finding patterns.
Mm-hmm. So, what kind of patterns were you picking up on when we lived in the city?
The commonality of sirens, I guess, was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't hear many birds, except for the occasional bird flying over
Mm-hmm.
on its migration.
Mm-hmm.
But you heard a lot of dogs barking, and cars running, just all this.
Did that bring you comfort and peace and make you feel soothed?
Not really. I normally like to stay in my room because it was a lot more quiet in my room.
Mm-hmm.
My room was like a safe haven, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, what about out here? How is that different out here?
Well, it's a lot quieter. You don't hear all these engines running and the sirens blaring.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this.
You just hear nature. Right now, we hear your little brother's Disney records playing pretty loud from the living room. But all right, so let's get back to architecture. Your dream. Can you tell us what your dream is?
I just would like to build houses that help humans but don't hurt the ecosystem.
Nice.
So, wood is commonly used in cabins, but in order to get that wood, you have to chop down a nearby tree, which hurts the ecosystem. So I'm thinking if we could find a way to make solar panels and all, like sand doesn't hurt the ecosystem. If there's too much there, it hurts the ecosystem. But if there's too little, the ecosystem doesn't really mind. Because it's sand, you can't grow anything in sand. And you could use sand, if you heat it up enough, you can mold it into glass and then make a mirror out of the glass and build the frame for a house and then stick a bunch of mirrors on it, and none of the animals really know your house is there.
So tell them about your window double mirror theory, because I think it's really cool. I've never heard of anybody talking about this until you really brought it up to me. Can you tell them what that is?
Well, I'm just thinking you build a house.
Mm-hmm.
Not very complicated. I guess you could say it's a little oversimplified.
Mm-hmm.
But you pretty much, here comes Preston's edible cup.
Thank you.
With what is it called?
What's in it?
Coconut?
No, not with coconut. With the liter of juice that's about to go bad.
Oh, that's juice. That's fantastic. You brought me a drink.
Edible cup.
Ooh, can I have a refill? And okay, let Miles talk. All right.
I'm gonna make it.
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, Miles. Sorry.
But I gotta kind of start over.
I'm sorry.
Really, if you were to build preferably a circular house, you could cover it in glass, technically. Arched glass around the entire house. And if you use two-way mirrors, or is it called a one-way mirror?
No, there'd be I don't know, one way or two way. But what would the benefit be?
Well, first of all, you wouldn't get any stalkers. Nobody would watch you through
'Cause,
your windows because
like,
they can't. 'Cause
they can't
they
look
just see
in.
themselves. They just look at themselves. And you get to look out, and so if someone is trying to stalk you through your mirror that they can't see through, you see them.
Nice.
They can't see that you see them.
So a two-way mirror like they would have in a psychiatrist's office if they're watching.
Yep.
Well, not a psychiatrist's office, but like an observation room, police or something like that. So take that and use that to what good would it do aside from people not being able to see in, but you being able to see out? What other good could that do for your ecosystem?
It would calm the ecosystem because there's not very many signs unless you actually look for them
Mm-hmm.
of human presence.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as much as one of these big blocky houses out in the middle of this perfectly circular world,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of, I guess, pokes at the mental blob that is our ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you turn your house to just mirrors, it reflects them back to themselves, so it's technically mimicking the vibe, but it doesn't irritate the ecosystem.
So you think you were talking to me about animals and what you think that animals think when they see a human settlement. What would that be like for an animal? Can you explain that to people?
Well, back before we had all these fancy light bulbs and all this, I thought, oh crap, here come the humans with their red flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Talking
they
about
would,
fire by red flowers. What you mean?
I'm talking Jungle Book a little, but they'd run off. Only the crazy psychos with rabies would not run off. They'd run the other way. They'd run towards you. And then they'd end up dying, so that's how rabies stayed under control, I guess. And they would go off, and the ecosystem will suffer because the trees can't get up and move because they're rooted into the ground. They have to be. And, dang it, what's the plant called? But there's a plant and a beetle named the exact same thing. The only thing is, it's a beetle or a plant. The name of the plant, the name of the plant. I mean, eggplant, egg beetle kind of thing. A little bit. And one can't live without the other because the plant can only be pollinated by that beetle. And that beetle can only lay its eggs there because nothing can eat the eggs that are very soft-shelled eggs. And so the eggs stay in the plant, and as the parent beetle protects the eggs, it spreads the pollen.
Correct.
And so they both profit from it. I forget what that's called. But
are we protecting animals now, or do our cities? Do you think they might maybe harm ecosystems at all?
they are harming ecosystems. I mean, look at this. It's like yay. But that's Alfie Davis playing with metal.
Yeah, he's out on the tin. So
And,
okay, we're about to run out of room because we have less than 10% of battery left.
But back to the beetle. If man walks in there with red flower and he's like, yo, what's up, dogs? That beetle's going to hightail it out of there. And that flower is going to die because it can't be pollinated. So just by our presence with the red flower and us not really respecting the ecosystem, we're killing it.
Yes. And so do you think animals get excited when we start coming in and taking more of nature?
No, I think it kind of ticks them off.
Yeah, we're destroying species at a rate more than 1,000 times greater than what the natural rate of species extinction has been. We've got somewhere around 70% of ecosystems have been destroyed or severely harmed. So you think that you could actually come up with designs for houses that would do what to help that? How could you help us out of this mess, Miles?
Well, if you have to take the wood from the trees to get the material for your house, and 10 billion people are doing that, it's going to take out a lot of wood.
That's right.
But if you don't do that and you use something like sand to build your house, or stone from way deep in the surface, that doesn't mean we get to go, hey, look at all this oil, let's mine it and burn it. But instead, just use the stone, like iron ore you find on the ground, and all that. Then you're not taking away the wood. You're taking away the stone, yes. You're taking away part of the earth, but it's kind of hard not to if you're trying to build a house.
It is. I know there are a lot of Native Americans have got some old books that show some underground house designs. That's
Exactly.
certainly, when we do that, we don't have to have the heating and cooling systems we have
Also,
today.
if you were to mine out underground, the supplies from your underground house, like from where you mined it out, you have all this ore and rock you can't really use to build anything, so you just make weapons and tools out of it.
You could, absolutely. There are lots of people that study that, farming tools. So let's talk about, if you were given the opportunity, with your dream, if your dream came true, and you could design houses that are sensory disorder friendly, do you believe in your heart that you could really help people? Do you think you know enough about sensory disorders and construction to do something that nobody's done before?
Yes, I do. I might need a little guidance, but certainly I could get a good start on it.
Absolutely. I believe in you.
I might need a little bit of assistance, helper here and there, but I can do it, I guess.
And so we have a plan out here at our dog trot that will become a bed and breakfast to put up cabins to bring in families that have children that have sensory disorders. And what are we going to do for those kids and those families?
We're going to give them the money to buy a homestead. And we're going to help them. And we could build them a house.
Yes, that's what we'd love to do. That's
But
our dream.
yeah, my dream will help with our homeless, because these houses should be made for pretty cheap, because we got sand. I mean, there's sand on the bottom of the ocean. Like, it's everywhere.
So
and
are
you never really pick it up and say, hey, look, this is sand, I could use this. They're like, oh, look, it's useless sand. In the Bible it says, the wise man buildeth his house on stone, but the foolish builds his house on sand. Why not build your house with sand on the stone?
Ah, that's a great concept. I love that.
I mean, it's all this about don't build your house on sand. Yeah, don't build your house on sand. It's going to slide, because the sand's going to give way after a very stormy day. But the stone's not. But if you were to make sandstone by just pressurizing the sand, you got stone. You got a form of stone.
I like it. So I love your dream. Our dream as a family is to turn this into a bed and breakfast. Okay, this is our lovely deck. This is Tomcat Stevens. Y'all say hello. And over there, you can't see it. We've got actually a science experiment growing right there. But in the wood line all around the house, we actually want cabins. And if these cabins are sensory disorder friendly, then we can help families learn that sensory disorders can have the negative symptoms healed by the complex patterns of nature. And Miles here wants to, you want to live in these cabins? You want, what'd you say? You wanted to design them? Is that what you were talking about?
Yes, I kind of want to design them. I wouldn't mind living in one of them, because I think they're really cool. Because that's just how I am. I build stuff I like. And yeah.
So we're talking sensory disorder friendly, environmentally friendly, ecosystem friendly tiny houses. Is that just going to help people with sensory disorders, Miles?
It's going to help everyone. It's going to, like, if Einstein were to live in one of those, he'd double his mind power.
I believe that. I truly do.
I mean, because he lived in an apartment in the middle of the city.
Well,
he came up with the theory of relativity. A brilliant mind like that, if you were to stick it out here, would make the theory of relativity look like making a grain of rice versus a whole plate, a whole meal of rice.
That's right. I love it. Well, we appreciate it. Do you have anything else you want to tell people?
Stay smart.
Stay smart. All right. Thank you, Miles.
You're welcome.